Everybody, it's Mrs. Jones here. I am here today to talk about what to do when your students do not do well on an assessment. In this day and age, we can't afford as teachers to just be like, oh, well, the class didn't do well, let's move on. We really need to tackle those issues right away and hold those students accountable for their learning. So I want to show you something that I do when I have a large number of students who didn't do well on an assessment. It all really begins with our cover sheets. This is something that we create as a team based on our math program and the assessment that we're going to use. So in this case, my current school, we use the Go Math program. This is the Chapter 13 Area and Perimeter assessment. And basically what we do is we go through the test and we decide what questions match which standards. And you can see there are times that we actually break up a standard, especially in math. The standards often have more than one skill, and so we've broken it up and we've matched up the numbers of the problems. You can also see for this particular assessment, we didn't actually ask every question that was in the assessment. That's something that we're allowed to do. In my grade level with my team, we feel that assessments don't have to be long and onerous to actually match the standards. So we usually try to only have like 10 or 12 questions for an assessment. We try to be very efficient. So these are our question numbers. And then, oops, sorry, camera's going funky on me. And then the other thing that we do is we decide how many points each question is going to be worth, and then what number of points are for the different mastery levels. And we use 4-3-2-1 because we use a standards-based report card system. So you can see the number of points over here. And then this cover sheet goes on the cover of a student's assessment. So parents are always aware of the standards that were assessed and what the student's level of mastery is. And I just took a blank one of these. And one of the things I noticed as I was kind of making tally marks here is that a number of my students fall in the 1 to 2 range in area and perimeter. And you can see what I've done if my camera will cooperate. Sort of is cooperating. I've taken each section and divided it up into 4. So this represents my 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. So you'll notice for this particular standard, apply the area formula for rectangles in real world and mathematical problems. I had no students who got 3s, no 4s. I had 4 students who got a level 2 and 18 students who got a level 1. So this was a really challenging skill for my class. And if I have 18 students who are not able to do this, that is something that's pretty serious, and that's something that I need to address. And I've done the same thing with every other standard. So with perimeter, I had 2 4s, 8 3s, 5 2s, and 7 1s. And that's 7 is, that's almost the same amount of kids who got 1s as 3s. Next, I have using an unknown measure. I had 3 4s, 9 3s, which is good, but I had 6 1s and 5 2s. So still a substantial number of students who got a 1 or 2. And then lastly, finding the area of combined rectangles. I had 9 students in the 1 to 2 category and quite a significant number in the 3 and 4 category. So that's what you do to start with. You really need to have a good understanding in your assessment of what standards I'm assessing and how the students did. So once I've done that and I notice those sorts of trends, then what happens next? How do we go back and revise them? Well, you have a couple of different options. Luckily, with the Go Math program, the Go Math not only has unit tests, but it also has practice tests. And the great thing about their practice tests is the number on the practice test is exactly the same skill, just with different numbers. It's actually worded the same. It looks exactly the same as the real test. So number 1 in the practice test is going to be exactly like number 1 in the real test, except the numbers will be different. So I use that a lot. I just make copies of that. If you have a math program that doesn't have that kind of a thing, one of the things you can do is just give the test again. Just give them back the test, show them the errors that they made, and just attach a regular old white sheet of paper and have them redo the actual numbers that they got wrong. But take a look in your materials that you get with your math program, and you might be surprised at the materials that are out there for you. So what we will do is we divide up into groups. And what I have happen is the 4s meet with the 1s, and the 3s meet with the 2s. So I have my highest students meet with my students who are struggling, and I also meet with the 1s. And you have your 3s meet with your 2s to sort of do like a peer coaching thing. So your 3s and 4s are not redoing the assessment, but instead they're doing that higher level thinking of peer coaching. And we all know as teachers that you, when you teach somebody else is when you really get that higher level of understanding. Now, if you have a situation like this, so in this situation, I had no 3s and 4s. I'm going to reteach this to the entire class. So this is how I'm going to start my reteaching, is going over these on the assessment, have them redo those, and then give them the practice test and have them do the same numbers. Then you've noticed I've written some extra numbers here. These are the numbers that we didn't do on the test that are good chances for them to practice that skill. And then once students are done with that, I'm going to really have the whole class do that because that was our weakest area. Then I'm going to divide them into our smaller groups. So you can see here, I'll have 8 students helping 5 students, and 2 students plus me helping our lowest students. Over here I'll have, again, 9 and 5, 3 and 6 plus me. And then this is going to be nice, 4 and 4, so they'll have a one-on-one coach. And then 9 students helping these 5 along with me. So I hope this gives you a quick and easy and painless way to help your students go back over their work and to improve their work. It's something that has really fascinated me as a teacher. It's something that I've noticed in England is a really big deal. They have a week of what they call revision before they do their end of year assessments or end of quarter assessments. And so this is something you can expect to see some more from me on, is how do we get students to go back and look critically at their work and improve on their work. Because I'm really convinced that if we just keep giving students more work to do, and they just keep getting 1s and 2s, and then we give them more to do, and they keep getting 1s and 2s, it not only frustrates us, it frustrates them. It frustrates us because we're constantly having to come up with new materials to give them instead of having students go back and look at their work. I remember something that an excellent teacher told me that really resonated with me at one point in my teaching career. And she said, when a student puts down an answer, they don't put it down because they think they're wrong. They put it down because they think they're right. And it's up to us as educators to figure out what's their thought process. Why did they think that was right? And oftentimes their thought processes are very logical to them. We just have to figure out how we can tweak that thought process, how we can improve that number sense. So I hope you've enjoyed this, this video today, and please comment below. Thanks, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.